Hey y'all, Wolfie here. Today we're gonna check out some trade proposals for Brandon Aiyuk. This is just for fun. This is just a good exercise. Like, hey, if it came down to it, what would satisfy you? You know, what would be like enough for him if it does happen? Let's just hear what people have to say about it around the league and what's going on around the league. Just for fun, kick this off. We're going to go ahead and look at some Devontae Adams trade. Apparently, for Brandon Aiyuk is the most talked about thing right now is Devontae Adams for Brandon Aiyuk. Personally, I wouldn't mind that. I like Devontae Adams. I think he makes the team instantly better, especially for this 1 year. He would be cheaper. You could get out from under him next year because this year is only guaranteed money. I know that you're technically losing a long-term wide receiver in Brandon Aiyuk. Just for him straight up, though, straight up Devontae Adams for Brandon Aiyuk, I think there have to be like some sort of common ground. But we'll see. There's one trade proposal on here from CBS. Let's see what they have to say. Their trade proposal is that the Raiders get Brandon Aiyuk and our third-round draft pick. We get Devontae Adams, and we get a fifth-round draft pick. I know that they have to pay Brandon Aiyuk, but to be like, yo, you should give us more, I don't know about that because we need more guarantees for next year, and I think it should be flipped. Honestly, just the other way around. I think we should give them a fifth and we should get a third, in my opinion, just because the future situation. They for sure have a wide receiver. We don't know what's happening to Devontae Adams because he'll be 32, I believe. Some people are not happy with that. They wouldn't take it. They think the long-term wide receiver thing is way more important. And I see where they're coming from, but if we weren't a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl now, if we didn't have insurance policies like Pearsall or Cowing, I could see why. I see where people are coming from, but honestly, for real, we're trying to win a Super Bowl now. And if we can get Devontae Adams, who's for sure a top 3 wide receiver in this league, even at 31, I mean, it would be hell of a luck if we end up failing by getting Devontae Adams and he just happens to be washed this year. That would be crazy. And I don't see that happening. He still looks amazing. And he obviously does not look happy with the Raiders. So I don't know. There could be there's a very good neutral ground here if we were to swap wide receiver. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that one. So next, we have trade proposals presented by NFL.com. One of these is a 3-way trade, as you can see here out of the 3 proposals. We are not going to bother with that because 3-way trades just don't happen. So let's just not waste our time. Right? Like, we kind of want to have some sort of realism when we're looking at these things. So we actually have like some sort, so it carries some kind of weight. This one is to the Steelers. Now, the Steelers have been highly connected to Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel for quite some time. But I think it's all been hype. I think it's just the Steelers really wanting another wide receiver. So they're just grasping at straws at whatever wide receiver possibly could become available. They've been coming at Brandon Aiyuk for quite some time, since before the draft, after the draft, constantly talking. They've also been going after DK Metcalf. I've heard they're connected to Cortland Sutton, even Amari Cooper. Yeah, they're desperate for a wide receiver. But anyway, back to the trade. We get a first-round draft pick. They get Brandon Aiyuk. No. And I say no. If we're going to trade him, it's only going to be for a player. We have to get a player in return, no matter what. We cannot take it. If we take a pick, that's the worst outcome out of all of this. So we know we can get picks. I'm sure we already know that we can get picks for Brandon Aiyuk. I'm sure we already know. But that's not what we need. He should have been traded before the draft. He was going to get traded. So that way we really get the players that we wanted, or the players the 49ers needed to fill those holes. But with Brandon Aiyuk being on the 5th-year option, I much rather have him go through that. I much rather have him go through the 5th-year option than trade him for a first-round draft pick next year, and we get absolutely nothing. Our team becomes worse immediately. There's no good free agent replacements out there. We would have to trade him for another wide receiver and a pick to justify it, or wide receiver for a D lineman, something. We have to get a player. We have to maintain the roster. I think this is a terrible situation. 49ers already took an L not signing Brandon Aiyuk earlier. They'd be taking a double L here by trading him for first-round draft picks next year after the draft. Next up, we got the Commanders. Brandon Aiyuk for Dyami Brown, a 2025 second-round draft pick, and a 2025 fourth-round draft pick. Dyami Brown, the player that they want to give us for Brandon Aiyuk in this scenario, He has a grade of a 6.19, good backup with potential to develop into a starter. He was drafted in 2021, third-round draft pick 19. Let's look at it. He's 6'1", 32 and 34 arms. That's all right, arms. Hands 9'5'8". That's okay. So his size is not crazy or anything, and his potential is apparently just to be a good backup. And according to the Commanders' website, he's only got 12 receptions, 160 yards. He's averaging 14 yards, I guess, and 1 touchdown. He's only played 1 season, and he wasn't a full-time starter. So I guess he is technically a good backup, honestly. Aiyuk Brown, a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick, no. This would be a terrible, terrible trade as well. I would rather tell Brandon Aiyuk, hey, you're playing on your fifth-year option. You're under contract. We're doing this. This is not an offer to accept. This is a terrible offer. Like a really basic backup does nothing for the team. It really doesn't. We can find players like Aiyuk Brown off the street. We have Chris Conley who could fill that kind of a role. That's a good backup. We got Bell who's developing. We got Cowing who we just got Pearsall. There's like so many players. We got so many wide receivers. It would just be no different than just taking draft picks here, and I wouldn't like that. So we're not doing that. So far, the only trade offer I'm accepting, even come close to one, is the Davante Adams one because it makes our team better, theoretically, for this upcoming season. I'm pretty sure if Davante Adams knew that he was on a contender, good chance of winning a Super Bowl, he would cooperate. He wouldn't be disgruntled if he wasn't getting catches like that. I'm certain of it if he was winning games and he wasn't getting that many catches. And knowing that he's already made his bread as well, I mean, scenario is really perfect. It doesn't mean he won't. It doesn't mean he doesn't want more money or anything, but he will definitely be a lot happier knowing that he may win a Super Bowl. And he wants to go down as one of the most legendary wide receivers of all time. And winning a Super Bowl is a big deal. It does a lot for your legacy. Real quick, some of the trade scenarios that I've seen in the past for Brandon Aiyuk, I'd like to bring up Luke McCaffrey in a third-round draft pick. Maybe, I wouldn't hate it, but then again, we're just getting it just depends. If the 49ers had him on the draft boards and they actually loved him, they were going to take him in the fourth round this year, sure. So that means they believed in him and they knew that he could do something. But yeah, we would have to trade. Was someone thought of Jonathan Allen from the Commanders, but that's just the Commanders again. So there's really not that many places. There's not really many options for Brandon Aiyuk because I've got a feeling that people just want to offer draft picks and they don't want to actually offer players. And that would be a bad idea right now because it's after the draft. Everyone's team is set, and most likely if you're trading for another player off of someone else's team, you're taking away from something that they already set. So there's no way they planned, hey, we're going to trade this player at this time before training camp. No, this is when people are prepared and have their roster set for training camp. Trade him to Broncos for Patrick Surtain somehow. That would be really cool. I like that. Somewhere in the AFC for sure. Anywhere in the AFC would be nice. Carolina, no one in the division. Can't do that. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about these trade proposals. What do you think he is worth? Would you do any of these deals that you saw here at all? And I know you guys are tired of hearing it and people talking about it all the time, but this is just an exercise. I do not believe he's going to get traded. I do not believe that. I believe he's going to stay with the team, and I believe, and I have faith that Aiyuk's going to stick around. John Lynch always gets these deals done. Anyway, let me know, guys, what you guys think. Please subscribe if you like the channel. Please hit a like if you like the video. All love, fam, and I'll see you in the next video.